I'd feel these beings speaking to me saying, we need you to go, there's some stuff you need to do. That night, I woke up and I heard this like above my room. Open the curtain, and there's this triangular UFO above my room. Astral travel. Every night I still go outside my body, and I would visit I was going on a tour of every constellation in the universe or in this galaxy. And then I started getting past life memories. I could just say I would go to a party. I live in a really small town, so they'd be like, let's go into the bush and have a beer party. So I'd be like, okay, but I knew I wasn't going for no beer. I just knew I was going there for something more. So I remember I'd feel these beings speaking to me saying, we need you to go, there's some stuff you need to do. And I'm like, I don't know who y'all are, I just called them angels and God. I was like, okay, God has me on a mission. So I go, for this example, I went to the party. And I remember feeling this energy of someone needed help. And everybody there would call me King, which is why I go by that now. And I remember feeling this urge, someone's in trouble, and I would go like this. And I would just see it's a trail of energy, I'll just follow it. And in this example, someone literally was crying on the train tracks. And they were struggling, they were like, nobody could help them. And my friend goes, Cash, and they call me Vinny there, they're like, Vinny, he needs you. And I sat beside him, and these spirit guides would say he's standing there, he would the spirit guides would be standing there like this. And they'd be like, come, tell him this, this, and that. And I'm like, oh, you're going through struggles with your girlfriend, you guys just broke up yesterday. And he went, wait, how do you know that? And I'm like, don't worry about that, I'm just here to help you. And we would go over everything together. And I remember he texted me later, he's like, are you an angel or something? How do you do this? And at that time I was like, I don't know. And I don't know who these beings are yet. So I remember I realized they were extraterrestrials. And it kind of scared me. I was like, okay, if y'all are real, just pull up. Just come here right now, and I'll do whatever y'all say, since you guys have me on all these missions and assignments. So that night, I woke up and I heard this above my room. Open the curtain, and there's this triangular UFO above my room. And I was like, wait a second. And I ran outside. And I'm going to pull up the picture for you guys later, but I drew it, and it was a triangular UFO. And it was so bright, I went like this. And I was like, oh my God, where's my phone? I need to take a picture of this. But it wasn't there. And I was like, oh my God. And then it went, whoop, a bright light, and I woke up in my bed. And I was like, what just happened? Everything was laid out. I opened the curtain, even the curtain was still open and everything. So I was like, what happened? And they were talking to me telepathically. They're like, oh, well, that was us. You told us to pull up, and we did. And I was like, oh, I did ask y'all to pull up like that. And so from then on, I was like, well, I'm going to keep my promise. I'm going to do that now. And from then on, I kept doing it. And they would always have me astral travel. Every night, I still go outside my body. And I would visit I was going on a tour of every constellation in the universe or in this galaxy. And I didn't even know why I was so attached to this galaxy. And Lyra, I didn't know why. And then I started getting past life memories. That time was really hard because I was just getting flood of Debbie Slayer's talking about the destruction of Lyra and the Orion Wars and things like that. I actually was watching her videos. I'm glad she's here today. And I watched her videos then, and I was just like, oh, cool, okay. And then I got the memories. And I would see, I was living on the planet that was first destroyed. And then I remember being a warrior in these wars around the galaxy for ever. And I'd meet people who actually were from these lifetimes on Earth now. And I know them now, and they slowly remember. But I let them remember first. They'll be like, were we in Orion together? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, were you were some sort of leader. And I was like, yeah. But they're remembering. And my spirit team would always be like, hey, we need to go around the world and help these people who are remembering and help these people who have big abilities and don't know what to do. So from then, I would always go undergo this training and go to the astral realm, meet beings and people. And that was about a few years ago when I started astral traveling. So from now, it's I have all these allies everywhere in the galaxy, and they help me with everything. And I consider them my best friends. They are the most amazing beings. They're literally just like people, but they are way more advanced. Some are physical, some are not. And I remember meeting some in physical. That kind of blew my mind. They're like, you're gonna see us soon. And I was like, okay. And I went to the mall, and there was this tall, really tall white guy. He was like really white. And first though, I felt the energy. I'm like doing whatever with my mom, and I felt the galactic energy, but it wasn't like a starseed. It was like stronger. And I turned my head, and it's this tall white guy, and he was already looking at me like with this side smile. And he walked away. And I was like, Mom, did you see that guy? And she's like, what guy? It's like, you did not see that man standing right over there. And she's like, no, there's no guy. So it's like, wait, what is going on here? This would happen reoccurrently. And some of them people would see and they'd be like, that guy's really interesting. But the ETs would never tell everybody that they're ETs. I would just know, I'd be like, I know you're not from here. I'd be like, where are you from? And he's like, don't worry about where I'm from. I'm like, oh my God, just tell me, bro, just tell me. So it got to the point now where extraterrestrials is just like super, super normal for me. And one of my missions in the town, I had a lot of experiences with negative extraterrestrials, which we can talk about on Friday. But a lot of these people, anytime they were in contact with ETs, I'd be sent there. So some kids would be in contact, and they'd be like, go to the arena, they're gonna be there. Go to the arena. And the kid is sitting right there. It's like he's waiting for me. And I went to him, and I'm like, oh, that little alien girl's following you around. And he's like, yo, you see her too? I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, you're like me. I'm like, yes. And that made me happy because I'm like, well, there's people that are out there that need people like me here. And plus, there's not a lot of Black people that do what I do as well. It's still kind of superficial in the Black community a little bit. So even when I post about extraterrestrials, they're like, why are they all like this or like that? And so I notice even in the Black community, I'm supposed to be like a issuer in that community and all of this stuff. But overall, I love interacting with extraterrestrials. And at one point, it was New Year's Day of 2017, and I had a seizure. But it was weird because I was awake. It was like I could feel and see, and they're really painful. But I wake up and it's like I'm in a whole new universe. I'm like, whoa, like why is everything different? My abilities would grow. Everything would just grow to the point where the astral and the physical just became one. So like now the beings just come through and I see them as though just like they're physical at this point. And I started doing little tours around my town to just blow people's mind. I'd be like, oh, and I just tell them stuff and they're like, whoa, like, are you a psychic or something? How do you know all this? And I guess with the upgrades, I realized they were upgrades at this point, that they were gifting me these abilities to see more and more and more. And it's still like doctors cannot figure out what it is. They're like, we don't know, this is not normal. So we don't understand. But I was like, I know what this is. So it's medical mystery to these people. Now, I do want to demonstrate in front of you guys and bring some of you on. And I'm excited because you guys all have such powerful energy. And I want to help you guys also connect with your spirit team and also the ETs around you. Now, quick question people asked me before, are ETs and guides different? They're kind of the same and different. Guides are spirits or beings assigned to you to help you in a physical incarnation. And ETs are just beings like us that live in the universe. So some decided to be guides. I remember when I was a guide and I would just like help these different beings. One of the most common beings, they always look really human or maybe bluish or like pink skin. Man, I've seen it all out there. Like I've seen spiders and I'm scared of spiders. So I was like, whoa, like stay over there, right? I'd see lizard people. Like some beings are just like a ball and like legs. Like they're super, super cool. And I love seeing people that are connected to them every day, no matter what, whether they are like a CEO of something or maybe they're homeless, it don't matter. I'm sent to them and they have this extraterrestrial power. They don't even realize that they're extraterrestrials in a physical body. Some know, some don't. I've seen all the spectrum, but it's really cool because there's gonna be more out here like this every single day. So there's already some people I want to bring on. One of them is my homegirl. I'd love for you to come up and we have a conversation if you are open to it. All right, come up. So when I first saw you, you were really powerful. And while you were presenting earlier, there was a grandfather who came through and he was standing at the door. And he looks, he's a little bit darker skinned. He's definitely Asian. And he kept talking about is like Singapore or like that area. So is this like where your people are from?
Yes, from Singapore, and I think my grandfather's from Malaysia.
Malaysia. Okay, that makes sense. I was seeing some of that too. So your grandfather was talking about, he was showing me, it looks like a dress, but it like has a lot of flowers on it. Do you know what he's talking about with that?
I wonder if it's his wife's, my grandmother's wedding dress. I just saw a photo of them like a few days ago.
Ooh, okay. So he was telling me about this, and he's like, tell her I love the triangle on her chest. And I was like, oh, and then I saw it, I was like, oh, I see it now. So did you leave Asia to come over here?
In 2022, I left Singapore because I felt unsafe to be there as an unvaccinated, and I left to Mexico, and I was living there. And that was the last time I spoke with my family. So yes, there's...
Okay, now he keeps showing me a pie. Or like, it's like baking. Does that make any sense?
No.
So he's talking about, he's saying mother and baking, like cooking. She's like, it's like the smell you miss. It's like you miss the actual feeling of home and like the smell of home. And he's like, you're gonna bring that here. You are bringing home, you've brought home here already, and you're bringing it home. And he's talking about writing and the journal, and he's like, girl, she's like, my daughter writes like crazy. And I wanna say I really respect that because you have so much wisdom. You have 2 more books that are coming out. Now, are you already working on these ones?
One is on a spiritual pilgrimage, and the other one is on anxiety and claustrophobia.
He loves those books, and I love those books. The one is like, your one guy keeps talking about the sky. It's like, it's freedom. They're talking about freedom and freedom of heart. So is this about freeing the spirit?
When I think of anxiety, it's like being entrapped. And the opposite of being trapped is to be free.
Oh, okay. This book is going to be really good. Is it blue?
I haven't had a color for it.
Okay, it's blue. Okay, perfect. That's the one I saw.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, the last thing I want to say... Oh, you got some ancestors coming through. And they're like, she wears some of our traditional wear. They like that a lot. And so the one looks like a woman. And she looks like she's from like... She keeps saying AD. So I'm like, I was going to say 1700s. She's like, it's AD. So she's saying way back, they used to wear these special traditional wear. And you've been wearing some things that are very similar. One of them kind of looks like a robe or like a kimono. And she's like, we love when she mixes in some ancestral stuff into her wardrobe. And there's something that you're going to, I don't know if you know this yet, but there's going to be some sort of like clothing line you make or something. And one of the guys just yelled, she's already making it in her head.
When I was 4, when I was primary 4, which was 10, I was designing clothes, and that's why I went into fashion.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Awesome. You're gonna make so much. You're actually gonna go back home in a little bit. There's gonna be a little bit of anxiety, but you're going home and like you're standing straight like this, and you're like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna confront people, but I'm also going to establish myself back there. And I really like that because you've been claiming your freedom so strongly, and that ocean. I keep feeling that gap. Like you like the gap there, but it also feels. It feels like you're far away, like you're going like this, and then like you're gonna get to go back, and things are gonna be amazing. I'm really excited for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Of course, do you have any questions or anything?
Yeah, like are there specific star beings that are around me? And maybe my most recent incarnations, which...
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so glad you brought that up. Because I always wanted to tell you that you're a hard Syrian, and this... Okay, the one guy talked about seeing water in your mind, and it's like always seeing water. And they're like, we've been trying to tell her that she's a Syrian, and you saw like, it was like some blue skinned people maybe. Do you remember that at all?
Yes, I often, when I do regressions, I would connect with blue skin. I always thought they were Arcturians.
So there are Arcturians that are there. They're helping you with your book a lot. And so they're like, she saw us one day when you were sitting on your bed, and you saw like this blue light. It was like a flash of blue light, and you were just like, that could have been my eyes, but like, if that's y'all, what's up? And they're like, she saw us, and that was us.
That's very cool because when I did a regression to Arcturus, I was brought into a chamber and I saw a lot of people with blue skin.
Okay, awesome. Definitely around you. And the Syrians, keep talking about your flow. They're like, you are flowing, and we want you to keep flowing. Because especially the water, they're like, we keep showing her the water when we want her to flow. And you go like this, you're like, and you breathe it out, and they're like, she's doing it all. You have it down pat. So I want to say thank you for what you're doing and what you're about to do, because you're powerful.
Oh, thank you so much, King. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I love you.
I love you.
So you guys will notice that right away, it's like they have a list. And anytime I have clients, it'll always be like a paper on my left side, and they're like, okay, please tell them this and that. And sometimes they'll run in and be like, wait, don't say that, tell her this. And so now it's getting super clear to the point where sometimes I mix up ETs and humans. Like I'm talking to an ET, and then I'm like, wait a second, that wasn't physical. Or I'll go to the Astral and do something, and then I'm like, oh wait, that wasn't physical. So it's getting like, I guess you could almost say, some people would say that's kind of like rich people problems. Like you have these abilities and it's like, yo, you're mixing up stuff. Like I wish I could do that. But it was hard because getting to understand how these beings work, understand how out there works, was, I would say that was the biggest challenge. It felt like home always, but when all you know is Earth, then it gets, and you start to remember back home, it gets home, but you start to realize you're rooted here. So it got to the point where I just wanted to astral travel all day. I'll just go outside my body, do whatever, and then my body would be like, it's time to wake up. And I'd be talking to these ETs had like triangle heads, and they were telling me about like bringing light. And I didn't know what they were talking about, but I realized it was the Lionsgate portal that day. And they were like, we're bringing light soon, and the lions are coming. And then my body was like calling me back, and I was like, man, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go back to the physical. And they're like, it's okay, we'll see you tomorrow. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I get sucked back. And these things would happen reoccurringly. And I started going to the astral realm to train. Like, I was like, I wanna be able to handle fear. I don't want fear controlling me no more. So I'd go to what they call the astral arena. And it's like an arena where you could play games. Like you go there and it's literally like a TV and you pick a game. And one of them I remember said Lyra. And I was like, that's interesting. And the game, it was like someone was hunting you and you had to stay on the run. But it's just as real as this. So I'm there and I'm like running and this like reptile's chasing me. But I knew it was fake, but it felt funny because I was like, I've done this before so many times. And I fought these beings so many times. So again, the astral and physical like this, and my mark always reminds me of that. Like, you'll never lose your connection. And I can't wait to help people get connected like that as well, because everybody's gonna be really connected to the spirit realm like this. I really can't wait. Now there's someone else I would like to bring you on if you would love to. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Very artistic energy, oh my God. So tell us your name real quick.
Bettina Hubby.
Bettina Hubby. Okay, tell me about the one guy brought up jewelry making. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Jewelry making. Well, I used to make jewelry and clothing. Then I left fashion because I thought it was too materialistic and not that smart or interesting or whatever. Now I'm kind of bringing all of that back in and doing a clothing company with my sister based on my art ideas.
That is awesome. Now I want to bring this up to you real quick because the jewelry is going to come up again soon. And they kind of like pinged it in your mind, but you were just like it just like came as like a little flash. And you're just like, oh, the jewelry, yeah. And you moved on.
Oh, yeah.
But they're saying we're trying to warm her up because there's some like, they keep showing me this one. It looks like labradorite. It's like blue, kind of gray, and it's like shining. It kind of looks like the earrings you actually have on right now. Is there any connection with labradorite that you know?
I do wear it, yeah.
Okay. That's your crystal for sure. And the ETs like to call this your soul stone.
Oh.
Now, to translate that, it means a crystal that you're really attached to. Mine was moldavite for like years, and then it broke before I came here. So I was like, I guess I'm done with it?
Yeah, my moldavite broke too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You definitely should. Now tell me about, I think this is your husband. There's a man he looks a little older, but he's not here anymore in your life. It's like he was there and he's gone. I don't want to expose you, but like, can you just say anything related to that?
I mean, could it just be a male figure that's no longer here?
Yeah.
Isn't a partner?
Yeah, not a partner. Okay. But it was like someone that you had some sort of energetic attachment to, and it was like you loved them, and it's like they're not in your life anymore.
Well, my father passed away in 2019. He was a big figure in my life, but not a pleasant one. But okay, my biggest teacher.
Okay, no, that's it. Because the teacher, they brought the teacher and there's anger.
Yeah.
A lot of anger with him. And he snapped at you a lot. And I like though how you forgave him. You were like, I forgive you, and you truly shifted. But now they're saying you're closing the book finally. So there's been they're talking about 2 dreams you had related to him.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Not comfortable dreams, memories coming back up.
Yeah, they brought this up on purpose.
Yeah.
They're like, because you're finally closing the book.
Right.
And this is really cool because you guys will notice guides are like, if you notice, there's a little trend that they ping it in your mind to kind of warm you up. And then they're like, okay, sometimes they'll send you to someone like me or someone else who's like, can tell you straight up if you don't get it right away. But you can notice they're like warming you up to it. And the journaling. Like the journaling you've been doing, they love it too.
I just started back. That's fascinating. Yeah, I journaled as a child and then I kind of let it go and now I'm bringing it back in.
One of your guides is funny. She's journaling like how she was drawn when she was little. Oh. Did you used to draw when you were a lot when you were little?
A lot. Drawing, yeah, constantly.
I like it because you looked out the window. In the vision they showed me, you were looking out the window and you were so happy, like looking at the sky especially. The sky, it's like it brought happiness. So was there anything with like UFOs or ETs then at all?
I'm available to benevolent presences to show up. I don't remember a lot of my childhood, so maybe they were here and I don't remember, but I'm definitely feel like I'm drawn to this for a reason.
Yeah, they keep talking about being drawn to the sky because it brings happiness and you know there's more out there, which is really interesting. Starseeds are always going to have this. It's like they are drawn to the stars, they're drawn to the sky, they don't know what it is yet. And sometimes they get memories. Okay, wait, one of them is talking about flowers, flower garden. What is that?
Flower garden. Well, I mean, I am trying to grow things, but okay, I won't say try. I am growing things. Flowers, I mean, I've always been fascinated. They're beautiful, but I don't have a flower garden per se.
Does pink flowers mean anything to you?
Pink flowers. Maybe it represents, the feminine that I'm bringing back into my life.
That's it. That's it. Now, there's a building. I'm kind of struggling to see this building, but it almost has like it's like almost like a judge or jury building. It's like somewhere you would go for like law stuff maybe, or like school. Do you know what they're talking about?
Not right off the top of my head, no.
So there's a statue in the front of the building too. There's like a water fountain. Is this at all past or maybe is this future?
Could be the past. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna see if they give more clarity later. But who's the young male in your life? Is that your son?
I don't have a son, no.
So there's a guy, he looks like 25, maybe 30. Do you know who this could be at all in your life?
Not yet.
Okay. You don't have any kids?
No.
This is interesting. Brother?
Nope.
Oh, this is super cool. I honestly want to figure out what this is. We'll put that aside for a minute. I want to figure what that is. But now they're speaking about like cooking, and they're like finding peace in the kitchen.
Oh, that makes sense.
So tell me about like the meditativeness you've been finding in cooking, especially with the holidays. It's like really like happy and exciting. Oh, baking, cooking, that's big.
Well, I have never cooked in my life, but I just took a cooking class because my mother didn't cook. We didn't have any appreciation for food when we were growing up. And so I've just started to slow down and really cook. And I'm alone in the house, so with my dog. And so I've just been cooking for myself, which is bringing in a lot of pleasure and just peace. Yeah.
This house is big. Is this your house? There's like a lot of space.
There's some space. There's some space, yeah.
And a lot of red. Is there like red walls?
Every wall is a different color practically.
Interesting. This house is big. I like it.
It's a pretty house.
Yeah. Now, one of them yelled, I think this is the future. One of them talked about the UK. Do you have any like connection with the UK?
Yeah, my mom's English, yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious because they brought it up. They're kind of blocking it out. They're like, stop. They're like, no more. But there's something with the UK, so you're gonna go back in a little bit. And one of them brought up France. Has anything come up with France yet?
Not yet.
Okay, this is gonna be cool because you're on this like, you're in this flow of yourself, and they work to get you in this flow with yourself. And you've been doing this spot on, like you always had like things that would sway you a different way, and you just get back on track. And they're going like this. They want to reward you for that. And they brought up bells. It's maybe really random. Like there's like golden bells. Does that mean anything to you?
Bells. No, not well. I just hung up some bells in the house.
Okay.
Christmas.
Christmas. I was gonna say it sounds like jingle bells.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
jingle bells. Last thing they want to bring up, yoga.
Yoga.
We're talking about yoga and bodily movement, Reiki. Okay, they're talking about energy movement. So it's like Reiki, yoga type of thing.
Okay.
They keep saying 2 days. So was there, I'm gonna put that aside for a second, but was there anything with yoga or Reiki that's been coming up any time recently?
I've just been re-engaged in my practice, so I'm doing a lot more. And energy work, I've always been interested in it. I don't practice it myself, but I have started to feel energy more. My one of my best friends is a Reiki practitioner, and he did a treatment on me before I left, and I could literally feel energy for the first time. I always wondered, do people really feel this energy? And I was like, yeah, I finally felt it. So
you're really doing it now. A few things I want to bring up. Last thing is heart chakra opening. And so you feel some like heart palpitations.
Yes.
They're like, that. Don't worry about that.
I have been worried about that.
Don't worry. They're like, your heart chakra is really just opening right now.
Okay, because
It's been strong, eh?
It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I thought I was worried about it, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And the other things, they're like throat chakra has been really bright. It's like a bright blue light here. They're like flow. And the last two, they're talking about the third eye and the crown. Have you been feeling energy here or like any movement here?
I just feel more energy through my body, and more dreams. But more dreams are coming up. So
have you been seeing purple energy? In your mind's eye?
No, not really.
Okay, because there's a lot of purple energy. It's like a cloud above your head, which is coming in slow. So you've been getting, it's like they gave you an upgrade, but it's like they're downloading it into your mind slowly. So they're like the journaling. She's been journaling the information that she's been getting and not fully even knowing that this information like coming in slowly. So it's like they couldn't give it to you all at once, else it would be too overwhelming.
All right.
So like slow trickle. And you notice it kind of feels like buzzing here. It's like it's moving. Yeah, because it's literally downloading into you. So they brought up the purple light. I had to ask you about that because that's above your head. And then the blue and green light. Have you been seeing that in your mind's eye at all?
I've been seeing more color in general when I'm sleeping, but not particular colors.
Okay. When you see the bright blue, those are the Syrians. So they're coming in too. They like to associate with color because it's easier for human minds to understand. So you might see the blue and you just could feel a presence and you're like, okay, that's them. And you know it's them. You don't have to be worried because I know you'd be afraid, like, is this like positive ones? And they're like, tell her not to worry about that as well because you'll know from your heart. You just feel the light. And I'll say that right now for all of you guys, for all you that are connected with ETs, you'll know they're not positive or they are positive by the feeling. Especially if they're, guides won't be like, oh, don't do that, it's gonna cause this. They'd be like, oh, you rather should do this because it's gonna bring about this. And when you explore that timeline in your mind, it's like it's the other timeline of like if you were to do that thing that wouldn't be good, you could feel the heaviness in it. So like you could trust your feeling, especially with you right now, everything's opening up, slowly going down. So you're getting ready to be a Reiki teacher and everything. Amazing.
Thank you so much. So they're saying that I'm on the right course. There's no specific advice other than just trust. And
does a peacock mean anything to you?
Not particularly.
I was like, I don't know if this is my mind or what. And I realized if I just blank my mind and I just be like regular, then like I could just sit here and then I'm like, okay, whatever's coming in my mind is really them. And you could feel the energy. Sometimes the beings will show you. These beings really cool, and you guys are really cool. You all have really strong abilities that are building, and you can do this as well. Now, if you're not where you want to be, it's all right. You have tools like, look, I I use crystals too. I'm a little woo-woo, okay? But I noticed these spiritual tools help you. So anything I wear, anything I do has a purpose. This necklace actually was from a planet I incarnated on called Lyra. And it is a dragon. And some of you may have heard of Lyra from Game of Thrones. And it's true, that was a real planet. And these people were beings that looked very human. And this was in Lyra. Very human, but they had draconian blood. So they were related to draconian beings, which are like reptile beings, and dragons. So you see like the dragon riders in House of the Dragon? That's real stuff. They was really riding them dragons. And they really was like, they had, like I could be a human and there'd be a big ass dragon right here. And that dragon is like my brother and we're related. So this planet meshed Lyrans and Draconians together during the wars. And this was like the universal being saying, what if we mix them, show them that they can mix together? And it worked, but it was too powerful for we call them the Siakar Empire. These were the dark reptilians, and they didn't like that. They don't like when these light beings have power. So they worked within. So you hear the doom of Valyria, and how Valyria was destroyed, and they destroyed themselves. They did destroy themselves, but it was through outside influence. If they can make them go to war on their own, they don't have to do nothing. Mars was the same way. Maldek is really painful. That was the asteroid belt. And this was a planet that souls that were in pain would come here for healing. And I remember I was sent on a mission to this planet. And I went in the Astral. I was like, you know what? I want to see what it was like to actually live there. Like, what is my thing with Maldek? I would see the word Maldek everywhere. Or like, I listened to a song and I'd hear Maldek. I'm like, what's going on? So then I'm like, okay, I'm listening. What's up with Maldek? Went to the Astral and I had this experience where, envision it like this. So if you need to close your eyes, you can. And it's like, imagine there's like a zoo. And you know like those zoo enclosures for like crocodiles? And it's like there's a slope and there's like people that are standing up on the top. It was like that. And so I'm walking and the Maldek looks like northern Florida. Like very like swampy. And in this memory, I remember people were climbing that like curve and they're climbing, but then at a certain point, you can't climb anymore. And their knees are wobbling. When you look, there's like a swampy green water at the bottom and you know there's something in there. And you know it's a reptilian, it's a crocodile reptilian. And they set up these traps on planets where they'll do that and then anybody that falls in, they'll eat them in the water. Or they'll not eat them. So then people that are in there are like, oh, you know what, won't come out, right? They're tricksters. They're really good tricksters. So I remember this memory. I was living out the memory of somebody and they were climbing and I'm literally, it's just as real as this. And I'm climbing and my knees are wobbling because I can't climb anymore. And people are saying, drop in the water, drop in the water. And I said, hell no, I'm gonna get eaten, you're crazy. But I was like, I gotta figure it a way. And I was so scared, I was like, I don't know what to do here. And these guys, they looked bluish skin, a little bit of reptilian features. And they were laughing at me, they were looking down, they're like, look at him, he's trapped. And they were throwing stuff at me. And then one of them literally got a needle, it had like some sort of drug. And they're like, put it in him. And they drugged me and I was like, whoa. And I was scared because I'm like, I'm gonna fall. And I was like, whoa. And then it went away and then someone came and it was like an alpha draconian guy, like wings. And he's like, all right, quit the tricks. And then lifted me up. And I was so mad at them. But then I realized it. I looked up Maldek. I'm like, okay, let me understand what's up with Maldek. And I realized that this planet was a reptilian planet, but souls came here in pain. And they were reliving so much things that happened in their past that they were like, I need to come here and heal, but they just end up reliving their traumas there. So it was really painful. And I was sent on a mission there. I remember on this mission, I was always part of the GFL, so I'd land on planets and do whatever I need to do. And on this planet, I didn't incarnate there. Instead, I just dropped on. It looks like Halo. Like I always wore this like Spartan suit, like a Halo suit. And I was like, okay, what do I gotta do? And I had the earpiece and they were like, go here, do this. And there was gonna be an explosion soon, like the planet was gonna get like destroyed. And I could only save 2 people because everybody was in pain and there was some sort of weapon that destroyed the planet. And then I looked it up later and that's what happened. And then they all went to Mars. It's kind of a long story, but it's like they were trying to make an Earth-like planet. Maldek was imagine it like the feminine and Mars the masculine. And so Maldek was like, consider it like the dark feminine, and then Mars was the dark masculine. And then Earth is like the mix of both. And Earth is a library planet. So it has the DNA of different types of beings and the history everywhere. So if you notice, humans are, even if you just look in history, like slavery, Holocaust, looking at all colonization, all these different things, you'll notice it's similar to galactic history. Because we're literally reliving galactic history right now. And we're near the end where now there's going to be a huge disclosure, and we're really getting ready for that. I'm really excited for that. But we're still at the part where the downfall of the control, consider it like the Orion Wars, where the end of the Orion Wars is happening and everybody's starting to get unified. It's like that right now. And there's always a cataclysm. So I'm seeing what's happening right now on the planet, and none of y'all should be worried. And I'm seeing like all these people that are in office and the downfall of everything. I'm like, good, like keep it coming, because that means we can establish the positive. Now, if you notice, like you guys are thriving, everything's good. But for them, they're struggling because the control of the Siakar on Earth is almost done. It's almost done. Now, it's funny because there was a lot of classified information with this. And whenever I speak about classified stuff, they blank my mind. So they're like, yeah, you can't go there. But one thing I did want to say was the ETs are already here. They're among us, physical and non-physical. And so they were like, I remember it was a few years ago, I was like, just land. And they're like, we can't. And they showed me, and I was like, oh, like it made sense. It was like too early to end the Earth experiment. And then when I was seeing what's happening now, I'm like, I actually want to see what happens. Like, for example, I'm not into politics, but humans chose Trump, for example, in the US government. And whether you like that or not, he's there. And he's there because people chose him, and he's going to do what needs to be done in the Earth experiment, right? So it's literally just like a video game. I'm playing my part in the game. Let's just let it lay out. So all of you should be excited for all the things that are happening right now and the flow you're going to get in. And I like to call these divinations instead of readings. I'm trying to get rid of the woo idea of it all. So we'll be doing divinations again on Friday. And if you guys have any questions right now for like our last 5 minutes, I'd be so down to hear. You can just raise your hand.
I have one question. Is the Moldite connection, is that why you were Moldavite? Are they connected at all?
No, but I wore Moldavite. I noticed this kind of a Lyran thing. Like I was always a warrior. I was like, whatever needs to happen, happen. Like I've been through so much stuff in my life that others are like, I remember I told someone this story and they were like, how are you not like demolished? Like, how are you doing this?
How you doing?
But in my head, it's like normal to go through like pain and keep going and use it as strength. But others I noticed don't do that. And Moldavite is very much like that. It's like it helps you transform. And so for some people, it may be too powerful, but I noticed with the Lyran way, it was like, we're always like, just keep going. You go through struggle, keep going, process it, do what you gotta do, and move forward. Honestly, I really cried this morning. I'm not a crier. And I cried looking at the ocean, and it felt like I transitioned. I literally saw a moth on the window earlier today. And it was like tapping the window, and the guy sent you messages like that. I was like, okay, I'm transforming, what's up? And then I cried and I released. It's like through my whole mind, I was going through everything that I went through. And I was like, you guys blessed me with this, man. Like, I'm here now. Thank you. Look at everything we've done together. And they're like, no, Cash, you did that. And that makes me happy for them to show their appreciation for me. And all I want to do is help people. Like, I just want to be here for people like you guys. And that's literally it. So it's almost like there's no words to explain it. And so I got to process everything that happened in my life. Honestly, a lot of betrayals. And that's kind of a trauma in my lifetimes is betrayal. We got betrayed a lot, especially for those who know, the Lyrans and the Vegans had like a little war amongst themselves. And I had that trauma. So even recently, I had someone who was really close, he's a Starseed, and I was helping him out. And he's actually a Lyran or an Orion prince. And there's 2 Orion princes, and they live in my town. And I was helping them, and they'd be like, okay, obviously, like everybody in my town, they're like, you're a magician or something. How do you know this stuff? And so they're like, okay, you know this stuff, then I really am a prince? And I was helping them for literally like 8 years. And then they betrayed me. And then they started telling people lies about me. Because there was a, long story short, there was a reptilian being who did not like what I was doing. And I was fighting him in the Astral. And he would latch on to people, like he latches on to physical people. And people would see it, they'd be like, yo, that guy acted weird. We can talk about that more on Friday if you guys want to. But they will attach physically to people. And this one friend that they had was reptilian starseed. Reptilian starseeds are actually very, if they're not guided, they can be very prone to negative reptilian energy. So this one guy, I was mentoring him, and then the demon got him. And it was lashed onto him, and he was doing crime everywhere, he was drinking, and I was trying to get these princes away from him. I was like, look, you guys need to stay away from him. And like, I'll just be there energetically to make sure the energy doesn't go too low to where it attaches to them. And then one day it got them. And now they're telling people all this stuff about me. And the truth comes out. Like, this happened like 5 times in my town. The town went to war one time with me. It's like half the town was with me and half the town was against me. And it was a Lyra too. And she was like, something's after me. I told her, I was like, that reptilian's after you. She's like, yo, yeah, like there's a lizard man who's after me. And I knew his name and everything. And I was like, I've been fighting him in the Astral for months. I know who you're talking about. And I helped her. And I remember the one night, it's the last conversation we had. She said, hey, can you teach me more about the spiritual stuff? Because I see it's real now. And I like showing people it's real. And they're like, okay, it's real. Can you teach me more? And she was going to kill herself like every night. And I was there FaceTiming her because it was trying to get her to kill herself. Like the one day she went to school and someone slipped a book in her locker that said, cut yourself. Like, this thing was really good at what it was doing, but it was trying to get her. And I said, I'm not going to let you get her. Again, Lyran trauma. I was like, I'm not going to let it get this Lyran. She said, can you teach me spiritual stuff? I said, of course. The next day, she blocked me on everything. And she told everybody, and I'm not into women, so she told everybody that I tried to touch her. And I was like, you're going to have to make a better lie, because I'm not even into women. Like, nothing's going to move, right? And so people that know me, they're like, he didn't do that. No way. And so half the town went to war with me. I remember I have videos of like kids, like groups of kids that I was mentoring, approaching the girl, going around. And it was like, they called it the Vinny Wars. This is hilarious. It was like people that were for me, people that were against me. A lot of the ones that were against me were reptilians. And I had reptilians come to my door too. And they were like, stop what you're doing. And you can see their eyes shift. And they came to my door. They were like, stop what you're doing or else there's going to be issues. And these were the issues that happened. And I was like, pull up. I'm going to be here no matter what. And then they did that. Long story short, now everybody knows that she lied now. So now I did lose some gigs. Like, I was supposed to do some presentation in schools, and they were like, no, we don't want to creep here. And again, I was just like, I just keep going. Like, I got to keep going. And I used it for power, like we do in Lyra. And I became so much more stronger just from that one example. And now it's out that she lied. And she's out by herself. I remember I seen her at the fair this year. And my guys were always like, don't approach her, don't. But I was like, I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it. So I went up to her and I said, why did you tell everybody I did that? Because you know I didn't. And she goes, oh, well, lies get around. And I said, lies that you made after everything I did for you. Why would you do that? And she's just like, oh, well, lies get around. Of course, reptilian way of talking. I was just like, whatever. Then my Pleiadian friend came and was like, hey, Vinny. And I was like, oh my God, hey. And then she was gone. And she was hiding behind the bleachers. It was creepy. She was hiding behind the bleachers and she was going like this. And she did this like creepy smile at me. And I looked at her and I was like, I see you, bro. I see you. So she lost the battle. But the fact that that thing is still like, it looked at me so creepy. I was like, this is a damn movie. Like, you know that Smile movie that just came out? It was like that creepy smile. And they try and scare you. I just thought it was funny as hell. I was like, okay. And so I realized, like my guides told me, you have to branch out the town. Because I was just going around town helping everybody and helping these families. And I realized, I got to dip from here. I got way more to do. So I did, and now I'm here with you guys. Thank you. Any final questions before we end everything off? Yeah.
2 questions. One, how do you banish these reptilian beings from your presence? Like, did you say something like, send you back to source or something like that?
Yeah. I definitely don't rebuke or anything. I notice in transforming your energy that you are making it hard for them to get to you. So they play mind games with me. You know, I'll go to the Astral and fight them, and then they play mind games with you all the time. And I was like, yeah, I see what you guys are doing. When they can't get you, then they get to you through someone else. So I noticed changing my energy, if I'm of love and I'm guided through love, every time I would have to, the yin and the yang would always come up, accept the darkness and go into the light. With light comes darkness and darkness light. When I was told that, I was like, I'm good to go. And from then on, I'll just spread love everywhere and be in awareness. I'm like, I'm on Earth. I'm very loving with kids, but some people would think that's creepy. And so I'm like, okay, well, in Lyra, this is our way. So I realized, okay, I'm on Earth. I gotta have boundaries a little bit. I gotta make sure, we have that. But overall, I noticed just with energy, they're gone. They will try every time. If you make this space energetically loving, it's like hard to enter. They can't. Imagine I'll tell you this quick example. I remember this, I first started doing this, and the beings told me to go to this crystal store where there's going to be an ET there, and he was going to give me stuff I needed. I go there, and he's there, and I said, I know you're an ET, where are you from? And he was like, I go, he wasn't going to tell me. But I made this crystal grid around the skate park. And he told me to do this and then wear the one crystal to have it like a remote energy so I could connect with it. And I did. And that day, people were like, the skate park feels so good today. It feels so amazing. And it felt so good. And I just sat at the top. I felt like a king just sitting up there. I was like watching. I was like scanning for dark energy. And then these two guys pulled up. And they were clearly reptilian influenced. And they came up, they were like, yeah. And they walked up. And then where I put the shield, they literally stopped. And he's like, and he went like this. It was a physical guy. He walked up and he couldn't pass. He was like, and then he yelled. He was like, fuck, man. And then he walked off and stopped off. And I was like, whoa, that worked? And there was another guy, he had like a hood on and he was dark. And he stopped where the shield was. And he's like, what's going on? And then he just walked away. And I was like, okay, so this energetic stuff can really work like that. And anytime I would do that, it would work. I got this tattoo, which basically is like Galactic Federation ID. And when I go out there and people see it, people will know. Some people will be like, I know what that is, or they're just like, that feels too familiar. Others that are dark, they know exactly who I am, and they know to stay away. If I have sunglasses and I see one, I just go like this. I just look at them, and then they go away. They're like, yeah, I ain't gonna play with that, right? So it got to the point where, if any of you watch Shadowhunters, that's technically what I am. And that's why I have these runes these sacred runes on my body, and you earn them. And so I started shadow hunting a lot, going to the astral realm and hunting these negative beings. And some kids would come to me. I'd be like, oh, I was in your house. I saw that. And they're like, yo, you were really there? How? It's like, just there in the astral. And I'd be like, I saw the dark thing trying to get you. I'm there for you. And he's like, and they're always, I like when they're mind blown. They see it's real. They're like, whoa, I haven't told anybody that. And I'm like, I got you, right? I'm here to help you. So it got more real to the point where others see it's real. And it's like you're validating what they know. Like people always know, but they feel like they're crazy. And that's why people like us are here for them. Because we could show them you're good. And we'll always be here for you. And that's what we need to do here.